What's more important, your love for thick layers of meat or the safety of the world? If you ask me, it's a pointless question. I would dive headfirst between those heat producers without a second thought. However, this guy is lucky because he can have both a world to live in and a pair of stress relievers. This manga, where the future of the world rests within a woman's heart, is called The World or Her. At a school, countless boys keep on asking Ayumi for her contact information and have a desire to go out with her. But trying to refuse them politely, she lets them know it is embarrassing to be asked in a place like this. Even more, somebody is coming from behind, throwing his foot in their ass, letting them know these three idiots are way too persistent. They're doing this every day, but never learn. This person is Cookie, and he always gets in their way, but that doesn't matter because they won't stop until they get a reply. Hearing that, the boy approaches Ayumi, who directly lets them know she refuses, as she did so many times before. However, these guys pretend not to hear a thing and spout out nonsense out of their mouths. Disappointed they couldn't speak with the girl properly, those guys warned Cookie that he would regret interfering. When those guys finally left, the girl grabbed Cookie's hand and took him to the upper floor and told him that she did not want him doing reckless things like that again. Even though they're childhood friends, she's going to get weird looks, suggesting they were really persistent and he had to get rid of them. Ayumi tells him there are other ways to deal with that. Her reputation might get worse because of Cookie. Right then, two girls approaches from behind, inviting the girl to join them towards the class. But she is not done speaking with Cookie and informs them she is going to head there later. Looking at how she changed the expression when speaking with her friends, Cookie remarks that nobody would like her if she showed her true self. Yet even though she seems a bit annoyed by that, Ayumi thanks Cookie for the help provided since those guys were really causing her problems. And as she is leaving towards the class, letting Cookie sit alone in the middle of the hall, this guy is about to have a heart attack. He is so much in love with her, but does not want to admit it. And bursting with frustration because he fell for a girl like that, instead of handling it the way most guys would, sneaking one when nobody is around, he's over there using those hands to punch holes in the wall. Even though she was just a childhood friend, Cookie fell for her. Being with Ayumi felt natural. It is comfortable to be around her, but he did not want to ruin their relationship. However, by not doing anything, his precious girl thighs won't be able to choke him. He cannot let that happen. He is the only one that can protect Ayumi. He is the only person who knows about her secret. That's why he must confess and graduate from the no-balls class. Lost in his thoughts, preparing the plan, he is bumping into a girl, making her drop her papers. Her name is Jindo, and something about her glasses seems to be wrong. When Cookie wonders if he should lend her a hand, the girl informs him this is actually his duty, and she is the one who is actually helping him. As they walk in the hallway, pretending he forgot he was on duty today, the boy remarks that Jindo is sitting next to him in the class and seems to be a nice person, but he has no idea what is going on in her head. Out of nowhere, she mentions Ayumi, suggesting she was really amazing and that Cookie and she are childhood friends. She wonders if the boy is in love with her. Hearing that, this boy's ass cheeks turn into a gushing waterfall about to flood the whole school. He quickly takes all the papers, letting her know he is going to take care of it. As he is walking away, wonders how she found that out. On the other side, she realized the boy made his mind, and she cannot maintain the status quo anymore. It is time for Jindo to make a move. On the rooftop, at the lunch break, Cookie keeps on wondering how Jindo knew that, making him feel even more nervous. But he lets out a small fart, staining his white Calvin Kleins, when Ayumi slams the door open calling his name. She wonders why he called her over, and what is he trying to talk about? And with the red cheeks, feeling really uptight after hearing that she promised to eat lunch with her friends. He knows there is no turning back. He already decided he is going to confess today, and if he is not going to do it right now, he won't be able to muster the courage ever again. Observing how stiff his body is, she wonders what is wrong. He lets her know there is something really important he must tell her. He wants to make something clear as her childhood friend. And while confessing his feelings, The slam of the door made it impossible for Ayumi to understand the words coming out of his mouth. Jindera made her appearance, greeting Ayumi, and while grabbing Cookie's arm, let her know she is the boy's girlfriend, surprising both Ayumi and Cookie. Not sure what is going on, the boy wonders if she is Ms. Jindo. Yet, she informs him he said he's going to introduce her to Ayumi. While trying to explain himself, Ayumi just laughs, suggesting it is good for him to get a beautiful girlfriend. More than that, she would not have expected to have her introduced like that, catching Ayumi by surprise. Even when he tries to deny it, Ayumi brushes it off and starts having small talk with Jindo. Since it's already pretty late, Ayumi decides it's time to leave, mentioning she promised to have lunch with her friends, but the smile on her face clearly hides something. Once she left, Cookie was frozen. He questioned Jindo what the meaning of this was. For a prank, this is way too cruel, but when hearing the word prank, the girl declines, mentioning she is actually serious. She's in love with Cookie and desires to be his girlfriend. That's why he should give up on Ayumi. But this is not making any sense. The two of them only do day duties together. However, Jinadu is not happy with that and desires to graduate from day friends and become his girlfriend. This is the first time Cookie got confessed to, and more importantly, it is by a really cute girl, and he realizes that by seeing her face without having to wear those weird-looking glasses. Hearing her being so insistent, the boy wonders how a girl like herself can love him so much, and even now she questions if he's going to give up on Ayumi. She lets him know that going out with him is her desire, but telling him to give up on her is a warning. He should stop thinking about confessing, because that girl is not a normal human. And now, after Jindo said she is Cookie's girlfriend, Ayumi is no longer in a normal state of mind, and if her mind is disturbed further, they will have big problems. Apparently, that girl has a special power that activates depending on her state of mind. Therefore, Cookie should just give up, and in return, Jindo would become his girlfriend. But anything that comes out of her mouth seems to have no importance. She interrupted his confession for a delusion created by her. Hearing the boy believe she is just making things up, she wonders how she could make him believe her, and mentions the incident from 8 years ago, prompting Cookie to question how she knows about that. But right then her watch is making a noise, and she grabs his hand, placing it on her surprisingly well-developed layer of meat, suggesting she could not read the situation. And oh boy, this guy seems to have a really strong grip that activates automatically when something soft is colliding. However, Jindo just wants him to believe her. Everything she said is true. She is willing to give him her entire body. But this is too much for the moment. Everything seems to be so confusing. That's why they must postpone the conversation until later. As he is walking away, staring at that hand of his, Cookie realizes that was the first time he touched something so soft and warm. And to make it even better, that girl even likes him. Saying all those crazy things was just a way to hide her embarrassment, and something even more concerning. How does she know about the incident that happened 8 years ago? This is something he must find out later, but for now, Cookie must fix Ayumi's conception. In the hallway, as he is walking, Cookie sees Ayumi, who is together with her friends. Despite trying to have a conversation with her, Ayumi, with a smile, mentions his girlfriend, telling Cookie he should go back to where she is. The others are surprised at hearing this guy managed to get a girlfriend, but he is not here to have a team chat. That's why he grabs the girl's hand and takes her away. But a few seconds later, after she mentioned she did not want to hear him, a baseball came from outside, breaking the window and hitting the boy right in the face, letting the boy waste on the ground. But Ayumi takes this chance to leave with her friend. Cookie is not ready to give up and calls her once again. She must hear what he has to say. Seeing this, 2 of Ayumi's pursuers are about to approach her, but end up stepping on the ball and falling on Cookie, who is already having a hard time. Even this is not enough to stop him. There is something he must do, and he throws those guys off him and starts moving towards Ayumi, who is also starting to run. But not long after that, the 3rd pursuer comes out of a locker, hitting Cookie with his pole, leading to the loss of Ayumi. Jinu shows up, telling Cookie that this is the power of a Yumi. Her situation right now is that of, until my heart stabilizes, I won't listen to anything. That is why she distanced herself from Cookie. Therefore, she unconsciously used her power. But she should return to normal soon since she is good at controlling her emotions. That is, if this guy won't do anything stupid. If he really does something, this won't end with just a warning. Any more of this and the Earth will have to suffer. Accepting there have been a lot of weird coincidences, Cookie wonders if it is really a Yumi's fault. But out of nowhere, Jindo feels the need to cool her body and opens her shirt, revealing the source of heat. She knows seducing this guy is the best method to deal with a Yumi. But Cookie grabs her by the shoulders, telling her to stop. That's why Jinnu questions why he is so obsessed with her. She wonders if there is a specific reason why he is so determined to pursue her. Cookie just tells her that he likes the real Yumi and not the good child she is pretending to be. However, now is no time to waste on trivial questions, and he tells her they will talk later. But Jindo knows there won't be a next time. As Cookie is running in the halls, thinking about what happened 8 years ago, he recalls a nasty memory. On the way back from vacation with the Yumi's family, it was pouring outside, making the road hard to see, and a tragedy unfolded when a truck hit their car, and both her parents passed away, and only a Yumi miraculously survived, but at that time the girl closed her heart off. Even when he asked her about the accident, she did not reply, and Cookie couldn't bear to see her suffer anymore. He went to the hospital every day, and maybe because of that, she slowly returned to the cheerful Yumi. Except to the thing that she created a mask that acted like an honor student to everyone, a mask to hide her true self, thinking she does not have the right to be happy. The only thing that matters is that Cookie does not want to see her get hurt anymore. Finally, when he reached the rooftop, he found the girl. She directly questions, what does he want? And wonders if it is okay for him to ditch his girlfriend. And while she tries to go around that, he stops her. She should stop acting in front of him. She said she is going to tell him anything that bothers her. Therefore, she should stop forcibly hiding what she is truly feeling. When hearing that, she remarks that Cookie is really a great person, a lot greater than her. Unlike her, Ko deserves to become happy. And with a dark expression, she mentioned it is good for him to get a girlfriend, even if she is someone way too cute for him. However, who is someone that is supposed to be happy? Why is Cookie supposed to be happy, but a Yumi not? Apparently, a Yumi believes this is her punishment. A punishment for a very ugly Yumi. The Yumi who wished for life. But that was just an unfortunate accident. She does not have to carry any sins and does not have to feel any guilt. But she denies, telling him that is not it. And once again, she tells Cookie he is a great person, and because of him, she was able to live on. While saying this conversation was not supposed to happen because he got a girlfriend, the words, I like you, come out of Cookie's mouth. He is always with her. That's why she must not suffer anymore. He is never going to hurt her, and he is going to protect a Yumi from anything. Therefore, she should stay with him forever. But she believes this is all a lie because he already got a girlfriend. He should stop joking about that. Hearing those words, he yells out loud that he really likes her. His face was bright red until he took his eyes off the floor and looked towards Ayumi, and suddenly a blank expression appeared. Behind Ayumi is Jindo with a gun pointing towards the girl, ready to shoot. She lets Cookie know she gave him a warning, and in the next second, Ayumi got shot, letting the boy in a devastated state. Holding her in his small arms, he keeps on shouting, and Jindo lets him know this is the result of not listening to her warning. However, Cookie wonders, did she really have to kill her? But it is not the case. She used an anesthetic gun, putting her to sleep. She had this gun in case the threat would not work, telling the boy to remember what happened 8 years ago when the girl had that accident. There was something that happened to the entire Earth at that time. It was the world's worst disaster. The case where several different natural disasters around the Earth occurred at once. And the cause of all that was Ayumi's powers. She managed to stabilize everything by closing her heart, but there was something that shook her heart after such a long time. and that is Cookie's confession. Looking at the watch that is making the noise, Jindo tells him they can continue the conversation later, since it's almost here. The disruption that her hearth just received is arriving as a phenomenon. In the next second, Jindo's expression changed as a meteor moved closer and landed nearby. And this is the perfect example of what is going to happen if Cookie keeps ignoring her warning. Ayumi's state of mind will cause phenomena like this to occur. Thankfully, this time she managed to put her to sleep early. But if they don't do anything, the disaster that happened 8 years ago may repeat. Starting to believe what Jindo is saying is true, Cookie wonders what he should do in this situation. She suggests the best option is to give up on Ayumi and start dating Jindo. Jindo lets him know that turning her into an enemy, with world destruction being a possibility, makes Ayumi suffer even more. And what's more, he is going to suffer the most. Taking the path of thorns, or the one where nobody has to suffer? What is he going to pick between the two? Later, at the news, they spoke about the meteor falling in the Saitama and Samisha prefectures. A meteor that was not supposed to even come close to Earth has had a sudden change of trajectory. Looking at Ayumi lying down in his bed, Cookie wonders, is that really caused by Ayumi? Thinking about it, it seemed like Jindo did not plan all those things to happen. More than that, she even had an anesthetic gun. Who is that person actually? When the boy tried to ask her for further details, she just ran away, telling him she was going to check on the meteor. Now, inside his room, looking at Ayumi and gently touching her hair, Cookie remembers what she had said regarding this being her punishment for the very guilty Ayumi. This makes him wonder what had happened during that accident. Why hasn't she said anything until now? Cookie also had run away. He was thinking if he was not going to mention the accident, things would just return to normal. Right now, there's so many things to think about. A shower should make him feel a bit better and cool his head. Once ready, when entering inside, a pair of touchable happiness is presented in front of him. Jindo is there welcoming him and expressing her desire to present her services to her best. This unexpected situation makes him freak out. Who would have thought he would have such a beauty laying on her knees inside his bathroom? As he is about to scream, she swiftly moves behind him, pressing her hand over his mouth to keep him from disturbing the girl sleeping in the next room. The boy, caught off guard, feels the shift in their positions, as if the roles have reversed. Something hard presses against his back. What could it be? As the two of them calmed down and were speaking about what was going on, the woman let Cookie know she pretended to be a soap, surprising him not knowing where she taking those lines from, but she had another trick hidden inside her bikini. Bowing her body a little bit, she wonders if Cookie is not interested. Sweat going down his face as he declines it. Jindo took out his phone, letting him know that his browser history is saying something else. Feeling ashamed, he wonders what her aim is, and Jinu simply replies her desire is to become his girlfriend. She wants to stop him from pursuing Ayumi, and to make things even better, she's about to wash his back. I know, we are all together. Observing his body is reacting to the girl's advances, and every muscle in his body becomes harder. Cookie must find something to distract himself. But right at that moment, the girl decides it's time to take care of his front side. However, Cookie declines this as well and tries to change the subject by saying he desires to continue their conversation from lunch. Hearing that, Jindo believes he refers to the part when she said he can do whatever he desires with her body and slowly starts playing with her bra. She lets Cookie know she actually knows he desires to speak about Ayumi, making him feel a bit relieved. But before they start the conversation, Jinu desires to test her approach since there aren't that many chances like this. Something soft is being placed on Cookie's, and she starts rubbing his back while, to make things even better, she lets him know if he chooses her. This kind of service would be a daily occurrence. His nose becomes a fountain, letting out liquid as he realizes this is something every man's dream. But while having those thoughts, Jindo lets him know that Ayumi would never be able to give him this kind of treatment. Ayumi's power activates when there is a fluctuation in her heart, and it is not applying only to negative emotions but positive ones as well. Moving on, she wonders if her movements are good, allowing the boy to finally tell his true thoughts. Hearing that, she reminded him that these kinds of things are a fluctuation of the heart And if he chooses Ayumi, he cannot do anything perverted for the rest of his life. Is he going to spend his entire life not knowing anything or experience pleasure comparable to heaven every day? It is rather obvious which one is better. Crying and lying to himself. Cookie tells her there isn't even any space to worry about such things since he won't choose a girl over something like that. Yet his face is saying the complete opposite. Looking at him, Jindo shows a terrified expression as she wonders if he got no sex drive, prompting Cookie to say not only does he possess that sex drive, but he is overflowing with it. The issue is that he can't believe the part about her powers, but he knows that Ayumi is suffering. Therefore, he cannot just leave her. After hearing Cookie say, if something happened to her in the past, he wants to do something for her now, Jinu realizes he has lived for Ayumi without thinking about himself. Maybe that is why she grew interested in him, even though she had no interest in humans. Right at that moment, Ayumi woke up and started calling the boy's name. Her head feels light, and she wonders why she slept in the boy's room. Moments later, she enters the bathroom, but nobody can be seen. That is because the two have hidden in the bathtub and now are staying in a questionable position. Having this opportunity, Jindo wonders if their lips could touch, since she had always been curious. This would be a secret just between the two of them. Moving closer, almost having contact with their lips, Cookie suddenly stops and freaks out, telling her they can't. And from behind, Ayumi wonders what is going on, and seeing the two of them in this posture makes her freak out. But Jindo reacts quickly, making water splash on her face, not allowing her to see anything, and in the next second only Ayumi and Cookie are inside the bathroom. As she questions where Jindo went, the boy pretends he does not know what she is speaking about. Only he was there. Very confused, Ayumi looks over, but cannot see the girl, prompting the boy to suggest she might have been half asleep. And quickly after she believes it might have been a hallucination, he takes her away, moving Ayumi towards the sofa while he is preparing to visit the supermarket. Outside, Cookie is meeting with Jindo. Apparently, the effect from the anesthetic gun wore off quicker than expected. However, the boy feels like he has done something unforgivable. The same day, he confessed to Ayumi. He entered with another girl in a bath. More than that, they almost went for a kiss. Yet, Jindo feels kind of happy about it. That was the first time her heart felt like that. It was a very strange feeling she never had. To make matters worse, she is even more interested in the boy right now. Right then, snow started coming from the clouds. It's really unusual because it's already May, but today was supposed to have 0% precipitation. The snow is affecting just this area that has a sudden appearance of rain clouds. Therefore, there is a reason why this happened, that being Ayumi's heart fluctuation. Thankfully, because they managed to deal with it very quickly, the unnatural occurrences was limited to just this. If they might have been a bit later, this could have developed into a disaster level. Therefore, 2 unnatural occurrences happened twice in a day. Is Cookie not going to believe Jindo? Slowly, she starts to believe her, but more importantly, who is she exactly? To know about Ayumi's power and the accident that happened 8 years ago. What is her objective? With a smile on her face and that chest pulled all the way forward, she lets him know she only wants Ayumi and Cookie to remain as close childhood friends. Also, she wants to know him better. If he's going to give up on Ayumi, everything would just settle down. But she already knows Cookie would not even think of giving up on her. By observing Ayumi, it has been decided that the best choice of action is for Cookie to remain just childhood friends with her. If he is going to confess, it would cause problems. That's why she stopped his confession. Hearing that, Cookie becomes a little irritated, wondering why she is speaking like she can understand how Ayumi feels. Forcing the girl to say there is speculation, but there is a way to know at least it's more than he knows. While Cookie's face is saying, there is no way, Jindo lets him know her speculations are obviously correct. If Cookie really cares about Ayumi, he should choose Jindo and retain the same relationship with Ayumi. After all, Ayumi wished for him to be happy. Therefore, Jindo should become his girlfriend, as she knows what is going on. She is not going to do anything that would disrupt their relationship, because that is what Ayumi desires. Doing so, everything will be resolved. Leaving away, Jindo tells the boy that thanks to the anesthetic gun, Ayumi should forget about what happened on the roof. And everything that happened today can be considered a warning. Back in his apartment, Cookie believes that it is a really mysterious girl, and entering the bathroom, silky skin can be seen in front of his eyes, making Jindo watch ring, yet this was within her calculations. Ayumi let Cookie know that if she let the boys from school know about this, he would be inside a coffin soon enough. Yet he lets her know he would not get excited over seeing her white skin without anything to cover it, angering the girl, who now is throwing kicks straight into his face. The scene awakened a raw, undeniable craving within me, a desperate need to be the one beneath those feet, to embrace every step as if it were my destiny. After he told her not to wear his clothes so casually, Ayumi explained she had no choice since she got soaked in the bathroom. However, his sense in clothes seems terrible. He won't get popular wearing this kind of stuff. Should she buy some clothes for him? Looking at her behaving like this and showing off a little smile, Cookie feels relieved. But soon she lets him know he might actually not need them since he already got a girlfriend. Things are going to get a little lonely for her, and it would be better if they stopped talking to each other like this. She is surprised she even had seen a hallucination. In this situation, Cookie can't take it anymore and tells her that Jindo is actually not his girlfriend. She confessed to him, and because he was surprised, he only gave her a vague response. After that, she mistook it for an okay, and it somehow turned into her being his girlfriend. Therefore, Cookie wanted to discuss that with Ayumi. That's why he called her on the rooftop. Hearing that, the girl's face turns red, understanding what happened. And in the next second, she turns evil, telling Cookie that it's a waste. He does not have that much leeway to dump such a cute girl. That's a waste. Thinking over what Jindo had told him about the Road of Thorns, Cookie won't run away. And looking at Ayumi straight in the eyes, attracting her attention, he is asking the girl to go out on a date with him. That is when Jindo's watch starts going crazy. After hearing what he just said, Ayumi is a little surprised, and Cookie believes he is confusing her even more. This time Jinu is not around. Is her power going to go out of control? Realizing it might have been too much, he rephrased what he just said, letting her know they are just going shopping together. Making the girl show a hysterical smile, believing he wants her to choose some clothes for him since earlier she laughed at his dressing style. Realizing nothing strange is happening, Cookie is relieved. Meanwhile, Ayumi is analyzing him and suggests that when he is going to get a girlfriend, the way he is dressing would be a problem. Therefore, since tomorrow they are free, she is going to accompany him while shopping. Choosing clothes for him might be a practice for a date. While the girl is thinking about what kind of clothes she would like to see a man dressed in, this guy keeps on staring at her skirt from behind, and since they are alone together, this counts as a date. Maybe this kind of thing would develop into something more, but while daydreaming about how they might end up being all lovey-dovey, Ayumi lets her demons out and shouts at Cookie, who now realizes there is no way a date with her would be that sweet. Trying on clothes and hopping from one store to another, the shopping fever hits her harder than a Black Friday sale, letting Cookie believe his clothes are really bad. Looking at her, he realizes this feels quite fun. After the accident, they never went out like this, but now this feels nostalgic. When entering inside the fitting room and trying on some pants, somebody is opening the curtain, catching Cookie mid-changing. Apparently, Jindo is the one who tried to prank him by pretending she is the clerk. Wondering what she is doing here, the guy freaks out. Yet Jinadu is a bit furious seeing he ignored her warning and went on a date with Ayumi, taking the Road of Thorns. Therefore, choosing to do that, he decided to make her his enemy. Feeling sorry for Jindo, giving up on Ayumi is not an option. Her face extremely serious, ready to show him what happens when she is your enemy. The girl takes her coat off, creating a bloodbath as blood flows down Cookie's nose. She's going to activate the stalker mode from this moment on, and as long as he does not give up on Ayumi, she won't give up on Cookie as well. She is not going to disturb the relationship the two of them have as childhood friends, but as Cookie's girlfriend, she is going to be a nuisance as much as possible. Moving closer and closer, Cookie's heart is racing with the horses. Who knows when Ayumi might come back? But for Jindo, this seems rather fun. It makes her heart skip a beat. A moment later, Ayumi came back and checked on the boy, who looked devastated, to the point where he couldn't even speak properly. As they continue shopping, Cookie is behaving weird since he is worried about Jindo. He can't even have fun, but tells Ayumi it is nothing. Now, since they finish shopping, it is time for them to practice for when he is actually getting a girlfriend. Next, he's going to properly do the escorting, and she's going to judge him. Believing this is a chance for him to show how perfectly he can escort her is going to move his position up. The boy lets out a smile full of confidence. First, he takes her to some ramen, but directly receives 0 points. Then to the plastic models, -20 points. And then he takes her to the lingerie, making her even more irritated since this is just him wanting her to wear this stuff. Overall, it is a total failure. She did not expect him to be this bad and expresses her disappointment. But this is not Cookie's fault since he has never been on a date before. Thankfully, Ayumi has prepared beforehand and takes out a magazine named Date Plans to Make a Girl Fall for You. First thing, they go to the cinema, and while inside, Cookie knows he is bad at sitting still. Even more, Ayumi is the same. Looking at her, the girl is even sleeping. She even told him she was going to show Cookie how it is done, but she ended up falling asleep. This is kind of nostalgic since it is reminding him of the past. In the past, whenever they were going to watch a movie or read a book, she would fall asleep right away. As he remembers, she loved games that involved moving around. But after the accident, she distanced herself from things she liked. She continuously rejected his invitations to go out. Therefore, why did she say yes this time? From somewhere, somebody is about to answer his question, making Cookie look around, wondering who it is. But checking down between his legs, something can be seen raising, and that is the Jinu's head. She is telling him that if Cookie promises her one thing, she will tell him why Ayumi is avoiding having fun. What she wants is for their date to end, and together with that, she desires to have a deeper relation with the boy. However, this is not going to happen, and Cookie grabs Ayumi while leaving the theater room. The next thing is for them to have lunch while discussing their opinion on the movie, although the girl does not remember anything, for an obvious reason. Moving over, the next one is eating sweets while chatting or watching Illuminations. But nothing that is inside that magazine seems to be fun. She finally realizes they should not rely on these things. Ayumi decided she's going to show him how it is done. Since dates are supposed to entertain the other person, if it is with Cookie, it's simple. They are childhood friends after all. They end up going to karaoke, visiting some animal shelters, and more stuff like that. By the end, Cookie's smile is as big as his face, thinking this was the best and giving Ayumi 100 points for her escorting. Staring at him, how he keeps on speaking, Ayumi lets him know she got saved after looking at that stupid smile of his, because she is happy whenever he is happy. Therefore, he should become happy for her. And now, he remembers something about what happened on the rooftop. As he is about to tell her something, a huge crowd is forming in front of them. Looking there, Cookie observes the one responsible for that crowd is Jindo, dressed very eccentrically, attracting everybody there. Seeing that, Cookie grabs Ayumi by the hand and starts running away. Without realizing it, he took her in front of the game center. And looking at it, he seems quite excited since they used to come here, and she loved this place. Yet, her face does not show any excitement at all. However, Cookie decides they should go inside. Looking inside, there is the genius of drums, a game Ayumi was really good at. Should the two of them play a match together? Despite her refusal, Cookie lets her know he already put the money inside, forcing her to play. Thinking about it, she remembers some good memories, but quickly inside her mind, she believes she is not worthy of having fun. That's why her mood goes down, and she excuses herself, saying she is going to the restroom. As Cookie was left alone, Jindo approaches him, informing the boy that it was dangerous, and she was very close to shooting her. Her power almost took over because he tried to make her have fun. After all, she thinks she should not be happy. Carrying that trauma from the traffic accident, She rejects all positive emotions. She is scared of those positive emotions running high, and so she's holding back. Because the unstable hearth is the primary reason these incidents occur. It's tens of times more dangerous than her unstable hearth, and also her largest problem. As long as they don't know the reason, she will continue to reject happiness forever. If Cookie desires to save her, he must know of her past trauma. But that comes along with a ticking bomb called her powers, which could go out of control at any time. Can he save the girl that distanced herself from things she liked 8 years ago and put on a mask while continuing to reject fun things? Mentioning that today, when he invited Ayumi, she came along. Jindo lets him know everything was for him. All of her smiling today was an act to make him happy, definitely not because she had fun. If he tries to think for her sake, it would be better to give up and stay in the same relationship as before. With that being said, she wishes for him to be happy. That's why he should choose Jindo. She can do that and won't hurt Ayumi. Thinking about it, leaving now wouldn't make Ayumi be alone. This is not something he would do, making Jindo worry about what he could do in that case. This guy knows that what he can do for her right now is to do his best. When Ayumi came back from the restroom, a lot of noise could be heard from machines. Cookie is playing those drums like crazy, and despite his bottom talent, he tells her just to stay and watch him. He almost cleared it. Thinking about it, he always realized she constantly distanced herself from things she likes and that she had been enduring something. But he had always been scared to listen. He did not want Ayumi to break down again. Despite not knowing what to do, he wants to make things better, even for a bit. Telling Ayumi he is not able to clear the game, he asks her to teach him since she is good at it. They are still on the practice state. Therefore, she should make him even happier. Looking a bit sad, she mentions he is really a great person, but at that time, 2 boys interfere and grab the drumsticks, suggesting they're going to show him how it is done. But Ayumi takes those sticks from his hands and starts slapping the drums harder than my uncle slaps me when I'm not listening. She slaps them like a pro, surprising the kids with her amazing handwork. Since she is doing this for him, Cookie must clear it no matter what. This is what Cookie can do right now. If she is going to smile for him, he is going to smile for her as well. Although she might not admit it, Cookie does not believe Ayumi's smile is fake. Regardless of the reason, that is a real smile. In order to see that, he is going to create that stupid face of his. As long as she's saved by this stupid face, he is going to make it as much as needed. Even though it is not solving the root of the problem, that does not matter. It is going slow and steady. He is going to open that closed heart of hers. Seeing that, Jindo shows a smile and lets him know she's going to leave for today. It's her loss. After the 2 of them have finished playing that game, Cookie attracts her attention and lets her know there are still games he is bad at. That's why they should go again for him. Hearing that, Ayumi tells him that if there is a game he is not able to clear no matter what, she's going to hang out with him once in a while. Her words bring Cookie some hope, but this isn't the time to celebrate. The more hope he is holding, the more despair he is going to feel. There is something more than her trauma or powers. There is an even greater despair. This morning, our boy's face is being stretched as if gravity pulled his cheeks different ways. Turns out Ayumi made him a visit, mentioning they will be late if he does not hurry up. Even later, when they arrived and our boy puts his shoes inside, this girl seems to be in a rush, shouting at him. But Cookie has only one thing in mind. Last night, he had a dream about what happened 8 years ago. There was a car accident that Ayumi survived. That alone is impressive. Thinking about it, her powers are nothing. Only if she could act a little bit cuter. Despite the girl being rude, especially when seeing his cheeky expression, she realizes something is off. Everybody seems to be whispering around them and giving the 2 looks. Could it be those 3 otaku are plotting something? Last time, they even put a huge portrait of Ayumi up somewhere, causing a huge commotion. Next moment, something hits Cookie's head, and it is not Ayumi. A ball just flew towards his head. Furthermore, as he lays down there, the boy realizes there is something wrong with his shoes as well. Turns out they have no bottom. While wondering what could cause all this, Cookie's face starts sweating and turns towards Ayumi, who quickly mentions she has nothing to do with this. However, Our boy believes it could be her powers, since this type of incidents happened before. Later, after our boy rushed into the classroom, leaving the girl behind and searching for Jindo, he froze. Once he opened that door, countless eyes were looking at him with disgusted expressions. It looked like they had just seen a turkey at Thanksgiving. He tries to speak, greeting everybody and wondering what is with all those scary faces. But everybody believes he is just a traitor. Next moment, Jindo calls his name, and with a big smile and those red cheeks, she wishes him a good morning. It seems like things are not becoming better when he mentions he would like to have some of her time. Those guys in the classroom are about to pop a vein, while our boy is about to pop a cherry. Everybody believes the rumors are true. On the hall, Cookie mentions the weird things happening this morning and how everything seems to be strange. But everything seems to be okay regarding the girl's temper. She has been under the required level today. Her powers shouldn't have turned off. But then he mentions even the boys in their class seem to be somehow different. Then, Jindo mentions they did come and talk to her a lot since she changed her look. They were so annoying this morning, she ended up telling them the truth. She told everybody she has no interest in boys other than Cookie. She would very much appreciate it if they would stop talking to her. After hearing that, everybody left her alone. But it only made it worse for our boy, who now realizes this was the reason they were looking at him with those hungry eyes. They can't stay like this. He must prove his innocence. Telling Jindo not to move, he starts moving somewhere. But the three otaku and a huge group behind them stop our boy. Wondering what this is all about, they mention Cookie has finally fallen. Not knowing what they are speaking about, one of them takes out a phone and shows him. There is somebody on the street taking a selfie, and in the background was our boy running handheld with their beloved Ayumi. Their anger is bursting, and they start questioning, but our boy tries to calm them down and come up with an excuse. Yet, they don't care about anything he says. They got more evidence and show a video of two children who mentioned Ayumi and Cookie were really lovey-dovey, doing plenty of that pervy stuff. At that moment, his classmates arrive, hearing everything, and finding out our boy is two-timing. Their sadness reaches new levels. Cookie is the one who said that Ayumi is only a childhood friend, but to make it worse, he was also having fun with Jindo. Where did the pure guy, who shared fun, charming magazines with them, go? They were even holding hands when confessing they have done nothing arrow. Could it be our boy, Cookie, was laughing inside while they were shedding tears? Everybody together seems to be eager to give our boy a lesson. Realizing things are becoming really serious, our boy has to do something, otherwise this would be the end. He can't just plead innocence. Therefore, he asks Jindo to tell them the truth about their relationship. However, the words coming out of this woman's mouth are purely evil. She mentions the two of them entered the bath together, and Cookie even tested his tactile senses on her wet body. With that said, everybody starts running after our crying protagonist. Inside Class 2C, a girl questions Ayumi if she and Cookie are going out. To the girl's unknowing, there's something going on around Twitter about her and Cookie. They became the entire school gossip. Yet, Ayumi mentions she is just a childhood friend of Cookie. She was just helping him with shopping the other day. Furthermore, the other girl wonders about the rumored girlfriend of Cookie, the girl who said, "I am Cookie's possession," or something like that. Thanks to that, all the boys were fired up. Even more, it seems he is also being chased because of Ayumi. Everybody believes he is a two-timing scumbag. While the girl seems disappointed not joining Cookie's burning at the stake moment, Ayumi seems angered. Her mind is not on the class anymore. On the halls, Cookie is running out of stamina, but it's not surprising with that body. He knows the only person he could ask for help is Ayumi. Next moment, however, somebody drags him into the ladies' bathroom. Turns out it was Jindo, who is always all smiley. She apologizes for her one phrase that turned matters into this. She caused him quite a bit of trouble, but there is nothing they can do now. Cookie, knowing there is no way around this woman, just tells her to explain everything later on. And precious melons grown in the sun. She decided to give him a thank you present for being so kind. Jindo would let him eat her melons, but this guy does not get it. The only thing he can accept is the love from his left hand when the clock turns 1 a.m. Yet this woman knows what she wants and gives it to our boy. Unfortunately, The timing is not good, since some of the guys who were chasing entered the restroom only to find the two in a lovely position. This only fuels the guys' anger. They don't know our guy has a big FE sign on his identity card for being forever virgin. Meanwhile, Jindo believes things are not going according to plan. With that being said, there is nothing she can do. She should head back to the class. But there it is, coming down the stairs like an angel descending from the heavens. Turns out Ayumi was looking for the girl. There are some things she wants to tell her, better said, various things. She had heard from Cookie, but the two of them aren't really dating, right? Jindo confirmed it, mentioning she is making approaches, but he isn't really falling for them. After that, she continues by saying Cookie came to her with a request. He does not want rumors that are too weird to spread. He is Ayumi's very, very important childhood friend. Is Jindo only trying to cause trouble for him? With a smile, the woman mentions Cookie's face is cute when troubled. But this does not sit right with Ayumi. She changes her expression completely. She doesn't know what Jindo's intentions are, but if Jindo is playing around with him, she should stop. At that moment, the watch starts beeping like crazy. If Jindo troubles him any further, looking straight into the girl's eyes and pushing her into the wall, Ayumi says, "I won't forgive you." Meanwhile, the effects are unfolding. The windows in the halls all shatter into small pieces, surprising everybody. But there is somebody who knows what might be the cause. Back to Ayumi. She wants to make sure this girl won't bother Cookie. Therefore, Jindo mentions she is dense to other people's feelings. If she had upset Ayumi somehow, she apologizes. Her feelings for Cookie are real. So is it really bad for her to approach him after all? Back to a smile, Ayumi mentions that if it's like this, there is no problem. Now, she's going to solve the boys' misunderstanding. Jindo must do the same. However, Jindo continues the conversation by questioning if it would be okay for her and Cookie to start dating. Yet, that is something for him to decide. This isn't something she could nose into. But if he looks unhappy, she will intervene again. After this conversation, Jindo is taken aback by the realization that she is surely hated since it was jealousy and disgust thrown from the other person. She must get a better understanding of other people's emotions. Moments later, Cookie is approaching her. He wonders what just happened with the windows and finds out about Ayumi, and that she could not predict other people's emotions. The reason for that, the power of the girl didn't come from an unstable heart only. It came from negative emotions such as jealousy or disgust. But due to her control over the negative emotions, nothing happened over the past 8 years. So far, she put up a fake mask to hide her trauma. But this time, she got angry and told Jindo to stop doing weird things with Cookie. She should stabilize again if the boy gets a girlfriend, since she wishes for him to be happy. Or so she thought, but it was the opposite. She thinks about his happiness so much that if any trouble happens to him, her true feelings surface, something outside of expectations. From now on, Cookie must be careful of both positive and negative emotions, since the world might come to an end. Jindo mentions it one more time. You should just give up on Ayumi. If he lays low, she does not have to interfere. However, Cookie's nose is too big to inhale those stinky words. He already decided that he will be the one to get rid of Ayumi's trauma. He cannot leave her alone when she is suffering. But that is still not enough. Getting rid of the trauma, her power will still occur. Yet, this guy is prepared to be with Ayumi for his entire life. Hearing all this, the woman mentions he must know the truth about her secret and her power. Ayumi wasn't born with those powers. She gained them 8 years ago. The power originally existed somewhere else. She wished to receive them. Yet the girl does not know about the existence or meaning of these powers, but she had a reason to receive them. The massive energy that can change the seasons or even a meteor's trajectory. She was in a state that had to take in that energy. Moreover, didn't Cookie think it was weird what happened 8 years ago at the accident? To fall from that cliff, and she alone received only a minor injury. The powers are just a side effect. The actual purpose was to activate as her life. She had already died in that accident 8 years ago. Not understanding what this girl is talking about. Isn't Ayumi alive, walking and speaking with everybody? Turns out her power is something that serves as her soul, the power that has been within her since death. Jindo thought that she was safely resurrected, but that was a replacement. The side effects started happening. It is something similar to when someone receives a heart transplant and their body starts rejecting the new organ. The difference, though, is that the effects are a bit more severe and could destroy the entire world. Moreover, that power will not run forever. If the side effects continue appearing, her power will disappear at some point, and she will disappear with it. The disaster that happened 8 years ago, if something on that level occurs again, the energy within Ayumi might vanish. And the last and most important thing, Jindo has the capability of taking that power whenever she wants. The boy should think about this thoroughly. If he gives up on her, they can keep the power's outbreak to a minimum. That way, Cookie will be able to stay with her a little bit longer. But if it starts to look as though her power is going to destroy the world, Jindo will make her disappear. Walking down the hall, unable to understand everything, Cookie starts remembering everything. How the doctors mentioned this was a miracle. No one ever survived a fall from that cliff. But while in that extremely depressed state, Ayumi showed up in front of the boy with the gang behind her. She told all the boys about the misunderstanding, but he is not able to hear anything. He can only look at her. And when the girl realizes something is wrong, this guy makes a move, pressing his face into her fluffy pillows. He just wanted to make sure her heart was beating, but couldn't realize it was not the right time or place. Everybody got furious, especially Ayumi. Only one guy is trying to be fabulous, always smiling and showing off his silky hair in every panel possible.